All right, we got the preliminaries together. We got the links in the chat, so everything is where it need to be. My mic sound nice. If you can hear me, give me a one or something to let me know you can hear me. Okay, everything looking good on Facebook, so we gonna rock and roll. It's a beautiful thing when the equipment work the way that it's supposed to work. You don't even understand how many times I go to use some type of software and it does not do what it's supposed to do, and half my day messed up. And that's what happens when you are running a entire business off of software. Like everything that I do is software. Not even the just using social media, even the clips that I put up, I'm using software to edit these clips. I'm using software to go live and then software to break the clips down and another piece of software to edit them the way that I want them edit. Like it's crazy how much software I use. And some of it is free and then some of it is monthly. So it ain't the end of the world as far as costs go, but it's a lot of work trying to make everything look professional. And I know why some people don't even try. But that's neither here nor there. I am here today to cover the third part of James Clear's Atomic Habits. And after I finished these chapters, I actually realized that it's only about maybe 3 chapters left, 3 or 4 chapters left. So I did a whole lot this week, but I was really into this book and I enjoy reading these particular chapters because it took what was laid out in the first few chapters and it built on it to where it gave it legs. Like it really made it concrete. And that's important when you're reading a book and when you're getting some type of understanding because a lot of concepts could seem simple and then things start to go over your head. I seen somebody talking about this book maybe a week ago and they were talking about you get everything you need out of the first few chapters. And I completely disagree. These last 7 or 8 chapters that I covered today, it was really the meat and potatoes. It was really the filling part of the book. The first few chapters did give you a large dose of information, and it could be eye-opening if you just wanted to take that and leave, but the chapters that Imma cover today are pretty heavy. So, Imma get right into that. The ninth chapter is all about the roles of family and friends in shaping your habits. And this was crazy because there is a big argument about um whether you are born a certain way or whether your community shapes you. They call it nature and nurture. So it's the argument is that you are born with certain habits and certain attitudes, and those attitudes shape the way you live your life. And that is how they argue about nature. They say that that is the natural thing about living your life and the person that you are. And then you have nurture. And nurture is all about the environment that you're in. So this is saying that it doesn't matter about the way that you were born or the certain traits that are passed down to you. In the right environment, you can create new traits and you can become something greater than what you started off from. And you can see this a lot lately. Before, this argument linked a lot towards nature because a lot of the money was passed down and you didn't see as many new millionaires and as many new billionaires coming as like you do now. So you see all this old money and you see the way that they uh gave people what they needed. But when you look back at that, even that was the way that it was being nurtured because you were born into money, you were put around a certain type of person, a certain type of aesthetic, and you learned habits from that. What's not covered in the book is the fact that money can help you cover up a lot of flaws. If you see different sentencing for certain types of criminals, low income and higher income, they make it about black and white and to some extent it is, but a lot of it is about class. And you could see that people of a lower class are sentenced to more harsh penalties than people of the upper class. And even with Biden's sons, this case this week and the way that that's going to play out, the way that people with money behave and they are above the law, that has nothing to do with nature and nurture. That has a lot to do with politics. So that's not covered in the book. But the role of your family and friends is very important because we imitate the people close to us, we imitate the herd or the many, and we imitate the powerful. So we see this with things that Kanye do, and things that may not be as acceptable with other people. You may say, man, those shoes ugly, but Kanye doing it, oh man, it's fashion. So that's what you see with the powerful. The many is the a bunch of people doing something. It You don't realize that what you're doing is so bad because everybody is doing it. And then you have the people close to you, they will influence the way that you behave because you don't want to not fit in. So, and you start picking up things from them. So, with the culture that we live in. So a lot of times we're getting bad raps because of the hip hop culture and the way that the culture is looked at. The men are aggressive and the women are a little slutty. And that's the way that hip hop culture is viewed. And a lot of people only know black people through this lens. So when they see us, they think that we're hyper aggressive and hypersexual. And if that's the only contact you have with African American people, then you're not wrong for getting this perception. You have to see something different for you to feel something different about something. So we can fight this argument, this perception, or we could do things to change this perception. And that is another thing with nature and nurture. With nature, you could, oh, they're behaving this way because their mom and dad or their aunts or whoever they passed this down. And I hear people say this with being overweight. They say, well, it's in my bones, I'm just thick boned, or whatever, like it's in my family. A lot of things are not in your family. A lot of things are picked up because you're around your family. So if you put butter and salt and a bunch of high cholesterol stuff on your food, it's because the food that you grew up on was probably full of all of that stuff, and that's how you like your food. It's not that you were born with high blood pressure, is that you picked up habits that contributed to high blood pressure. And until you realize that, it's hard for you to change things. Uh, if you understand why you have certain habits, it's a lot easier for you to deal with them and to categorize them and to pick up good habits to offset those bad habits or to eliminate them altogether. If you do not realize you have a bad habit and you can continuously say, well, I was born like this, or it was passed down to me, or I get it honest, then you never take the time to actually address the bad habit and do something more productive. People are afraid to start new habits in the fear of failure. So in chapter 11, it talks about walking slowly but never backwards. And the only way you're going to learn a new habit is to practice it. You cannot plan everything out. You have to practice. You can visualize all you want to, and you could get 100 shots up by yourself in the gym. You could do whatever you want to do. You could sit there and shoot 100 shots. But until you are in the full game speed and you're doing everything at game speed, you're not really practicing. And you can play basketball for 10 years and do this the wrong way because you're practicing by yourself. You're not actually getting real game reps in. That is what's going to make the difference, is actually being in the habit, is actually doing what the habit calls for. Until you are doing that, planning is just planning. You can write everything down and be as detailed as possible, but until you're actually doing something, you are not practicing it. You have to focus on taking the action. So, as much as as much as we see people do certain things like rap. You'll see a person rap, and you see people now, you got these freestyle videos and they make it look so easy. Or you see, I like a lot of battle rap. So you see these guys doing battle rap and they make it look so easy. But a lot of times these guys have practiced these 3 rounds of rap for 2 months, 3 months. They've literally practiced these 9 minutes worth of raps, 3 minute rounds, 9 minutes worth of raps. This has been their life for 2 or 3 months. And they've probably practiced with people in front of them. They didn't just sit and practice in a mirror or sit at a desk rapping this rap. They practice in game mode. And this takes a different mindset. And this is a habit you have to develop. You have to develop the habit of actually taking action and not just planning. To make habits a lot easier, you have to make sure that you are setting life up to make these habits simple. So if you don't want to eat junk food, you want to eat fruit, you have to take the time to prep the fruit. Because a lot of times I'm snacking because it's the easiest thing for me to get my hands on. But if fruit is cut up and prepared, it should be easier for me to get the fruit when I want to do that. Most of the time, I just want the junk food. Like, I'm just being honest. But if I'm trying to not eat junk food, I have to make sure the fruit is prepared, because it may be easier for me to grab a few cookies than it is for me to cut an orange up at that moment. But if I do it all at one time and I prep the fruit and I can just go and grab the fruit as easily as I can grab the candy bar or the cookies, then I have a choice there. And a lot of us are not just picking things because we love it. We are picking certain things because they are easier to be picked. They are closest to us. If the bad habit is more difficult for us to actually get our hands on, and the good habit is closer. So let's say I put the cookies in the basement somewhere. I got to walk around the house to get these cookies. Then I'm less likely to snack on the cookies. And the fruit is right in the refrigerator, it's cut up, it's prepped. I don't have to do anything but go in there and grab me some. I made it easier for me to deal with the fruit than it is to go get the cookie. So that's another thing about developing better habits. So if you want to get to stacking your best habits up, you have to ignore instant gratification, because once you understand that instant gratification takes away from a delayed reward, you start to put things in the context a little better. And you say, okay, yes, I could have the cookie now, but I'm gonna pay for it later on with a roll around my waist. Then you could stay away from that. If you delay that gratification and you tell yourself, well, I can deny myself this cookie today and I can keep my 6 pack, or I could build my 6 pack, then you understand that a delayed reward is better than instant gratification. And you could start to give yourself mini rewards. So you start doing things like, maybe you didn't eat cookies for the week. So you give yourself some type of treat. Maybe you give yourself a few cookies and some ice cream. Maybe you start to, you know, give yourself some type of reward in another aspect. Maybe because you didn't eat junk food all week, you go and spend that $50 on They Say, right? You just start to do things and you reward yourself based on the small things that you're doing. So now you're reinforcing the good habit and you don't have to wait for delayed gratification. Now you're not waiting on the six pack. You're rewarding yourself for whatever habit you decided to start. And you may say, every week, I'm going to reward myself for not doing something or doing something, whatever that habit is. So you have to get in the habit of rewarding yourself for your good habits. And that will make the habit satisfying, even if it's not satisfying actually doing the habit. So if you have good habits and you're tracking them, then you'll know that you're doing good and you'll keep yourself motivated. The problem here is actually tracking your good habits will let you know when you've fallen off. But if you fall off, the easiest thing for you to do is to recover quickly. So let's say you want to go to the gym 7 days a week and you miss a day. Okay, you missed a day. Don't miss the second day just because. Get in there the second day and get back on track. If you do not get back on track as quick as possible, then you look up and one day turns into 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, 5 days. And now you're out of the gym for a whole week. Then that turns into 2 weeks. So a lot of times people are afraid of tracking their habit because they do not want to be held accountable for that one time that they do not do what they are supposed to do. And that's not the end of the world. The main thing is to bounce back as quickly as possible. And this will help you create new good habits. Because once you see you can do something once, you know that you can create new habits and do it again and again. How do you measure your habits? The main thing is that you measure the right habits. It's not in the sense of how many habits you're measuring, but you don't want to measure 10 different habits and only three of them matter because now you junking up the habit tracker. You want to make sure that you're tracking the habits that actually matter. You don't want to track the habits that are just reactors, like they're just habits that happen. You're setting out a goal, so you want to make sure that the habits you track are actually habits that contribute to whatever goal you setting out to meet. All of these things are a part of chapters 9 through 16. And like I said, it's the actual meat and potatoes to the first 8 chapters. And if you have not read this book, all you have to do is join my community and it's free. If you join the Business Builders community, there is a link right within the communities to this book for free. And next week will be the last week that I actually cover this book, but the link is still active. The link will remain active. So even if you're watching this later on down the line, all you have to do is join the Business Builders community and you can get the link to this book. And I'm telling you, it's worth every page. Um, that's it for today. I want to make sure this one was kind of short, even though it was a lot covered. I kind of got right to the point because I am tired. I did a whole lot today and I don't want to be on live all day. I want to thank everybody that tuned in, whether you're watching this on the replay or you're watching it live. I truly appreciate you. If you have not joined the community, the link is right in the chat. It's the ultimatebbb.com. If you go to the Chosen One Jackpot link, that is my personal link, and you will be able to book some time with me. And I want to get people into these marketing questionnaires. I want to get people to do these marketing questionnaires because they are very informative. And if I give you that one-page marketing plan, trust me, it could change a lot about how you market your business. And the lack of knowledge and ignorance is not bliss. If you are not marketing your business properly, you are probably not generating a stream of leads, which means you are not generating a stream of customers. And if you do have customers, you are not maximizing what they could do for your business because you are not keeping up with them properly. So trust me, you want to get with me and get the link to this marketing questionnaire so we can get you a one-page marketing plan as soon as possible. Thank y'all for tuning in.